ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। हरि ओम् तत्सत्। ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणम्। परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यईश्वरम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमाचार्य दास ठाकुर की जय। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रभुपाद की जय। गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। So we are discussing from Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 1, the spiritual masters, verse number 3. I'll just give also brief introduction, as it's been a few weeks we didn't continue the class. So this chapter, this Adi Leela has 17 chapters, and it's all based on the first chapter, 14 verses in reality, because it is describing the very sequentially. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is describing Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय अद्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम भव महादावाग्निर्वापणम श्रेय कैरव चंद्रिका वितरणम विद्यावधू जीवनम आनंदाम्बुधिवर्धनम प्रतिपदम पूर्णामृत स्वादनम सर्वात्मा स्नपनम परम विजेते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम नामनामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशीया जनिनानुराग तृणादपि सुनिजेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना ममानिनामानदेन कीर्तनीय सदा हरि न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरीं कवितां वा जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनीश्वरे भवतात् भक्तिरहेतुकी त्वयि ऐरन्दतनुज किङ्करं पतितं मां विषमे भवां पुदौ कृपया तव पादपङ्कजस्थितधूलिसदृशं विचिन्तय नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिर पुलकैर्निचितं वपूतव नाम ग्रहणेन भविष्यति युगायुतं निमेषेण चक्षुषा प्रावृषायुधम् शून्यायुतं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे शून्यायुतं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दविरहेण मे अश्लेषवां पादरतां पिनस्तु माम् अदर्शनां मर्मतां करोतु वा यथा तथा वातु विदधातु लम्पटो मत्प्राणनादस्तु सैव नापरः Matprananadastu Saivanaparam. Matprananadastu Saivanaparam. श्री चैतन्य महाप्रभु शिक्षाष्टकम की जय, श्री राधा माधव अष्टसर की जय। प्रिय स्वयं कृष्ण सहचरी, दिस इज द फेमस वर्स ऑफ श्री चैतन्य Chaitanya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya Charitamrita, describing the intensity of his absorption of this Siksha. The whole Sikshastakam we sang, the essence is in that particular verse. What is the mood of separation of Sri Chaitanya? प्रियस्वयं कृष्ण सहचरी कुरुक्षेत्र मिलित तदाहं सराधा तदिदम उभयो संगम सुखम तथापि अंतःकेलन मधुर मुरली पंचमदुषे कालिंदी पुलिन उपनीय स्पृहयति. Constantly remembering that meeting of Kurukshetra after so long. So, all the gopis came to see Lord Krishna, all others also. So then, seeing the Lord Krishna in that great opulence with kingly dress, they're inviting the Lord to come back to the Vrindavan in his original dress, a covered boy dress, which is appropriate. So in that intense separation. So Lord is remembering that this verse has been repeated multiple times in Chaitanya Charitamrita and Antelila, spoken by Rupa Goswami. So now getting back to this third verse, so we're giving introduction that Adi Leela has 17 chapters. The first chapter has first 14 verses describing absolute truth. So this verse is describing also absolute truth. But all the 14 verses are describing absolute truth. 106 verses or so, or the 107 verses, first chapter. First 14 verses are the key. In that 14 verses, the first 6 verses are describing the supreme absolute truth, what it entails. First, it is describing the first verse is describing the 6 aspects of it. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan, Isha Avatarakan, Tat Prakasam, Tat Shaktin, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sangnakam. The 6 aspects. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is one, and then Guru, spiritual masters is second, and then Isha Bhaktan, the manifestations of the devotee as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. So, along with his associate, and then his Tat Prakasam and his manifestations are avatars, Prakash and Vilas. Then Tat Shakti, his energies, the consorts, various consorts, 4 different categories. And so Tat Prakasam, Tat Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya, these are 6 aspects. That is the first verse is describing various divisions of absolute truth. So, but first aspect is that is mentioned. And second verse is describing just specifically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda were the central figures of this. One day, so Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudodaye Pushpavanto Santo Samonudo. They are come here and they appeared in this Kali Yuga to dissipate the darkness and ignorance of all the living entities. That's the last verse is there. Yehi Krishna, Yehi Sunibe Krishna Leela, Dai Agnana. So this ignorance will be removed and they will attain Krishna Prema. He is giving that verse. This whole first chapter Adi Leela, rather it is described in 3 things. One is offering obeisances, giving benedictions, and setting the objective. The from that one instruction from this Adi Leela first chapter specifically setting the objective. Uh, so we are entering into bhakti out of so many things. That means there are so many problems that we have entered into bhakti. We might be arguing and fighting, or so to enter into bhakti, to practice bhakti. So it is not so easy. We have to adjust with so many parents or families, friends, neighbors, colleagues, and you name it. So we entered into bhakti. But when we are entering into bhakti, we know one goal, that is attaining Krishna Prema. But as we go through this process, as we go deeper and deeper, then every day we forget that. So the key focus here, that's why he is offering benedictions, offering obeisances to make sure that we re-emphasize, revitalize every day that our goal is not withdrawn from our heart, from our mind, from our consciousness. Goal has to be right, left, center. That Krishna Prema I have to attain. How I can attain? That means first we have to follow, pay attention to the point I'm making. First, we have to follow the person who is a pure devotee of the Lord. If you want to attain this goal, first you have to keep this goal as a center focus. Every day we have to remember that this is the goal I'm working towards. I'm practicing this bhakti towards that goal. So that is the first point: desire and trying to practice sincerely and seriously. And second point is to attain that goal, one has to actually to go through the parampara acharya. Acharyas, that is pure devotee. We have to go through the pure devotee. And then next third one is to go to the pure devotee, then we have to become a pure servant of that pure devotee. That is the third aspect. Um, to become a pure servant of that pure devotee, then we have to become a so engage in service with a very with a simple heart, saralata. With a simple heart, one has to, without any duplicitous nature, one should serve the pure devotee of the Lord and his representatives. The achar, that means we have to have achar anugatya, shastra anugatya, sadhu anugatya. So these five aspects. First, we have started with the desire. First, one should have a desire of having that Krishna prema is the goal, ultimate goal. I have to attain it, no matter what. I'm working. I'm waiting for that day when I'm going to attain this. How I can become a pure devotee and attain Krishna prema. The second aspect, we from there we draw a conclusion that that can only be attained through approaching a pure devotee. And then and then approaching is not enough. Then we have to become pure servant of that pure devotee. And that is a desire, but that's still not enough. Then we have to work towards that. We have to have a simplicity in our heart by serving, by becoming next. That is simplicity we have to have and work sincerely and seriously to serve. That means we have to have a Seva Anugatya, the fifth one. Seva Anugatya, that means trying to do service. That service could be, just simply following the sadhana of chanting the holy names more than 16 rounds, the hearing every day and trying to read, trying to follow the four regulative principles and trying to take darshan of the Lord and trying to serve devotees and trying to take some responsibility for Guru's instructions, Guru's seva, distributing books, whatever Guru says. You may say that just do the deity service in the temple, or you may say whatever he says, general instruction or specific instruction, whatever we have received. So all those comes under this is seva anugatya. That's how we become a pure servant when we have that simplicity. Four things, and the fifth thing is this one: seva anugatya, the guru anugatya, then shastra anugatya. So otherwise, because Paramatma reveals, we may get some indications, but then how will you corroborate it? If you do Seva Anugatya, Guru Anugatya, Shastra Anugatya, then Shastra will reveal something when we are hearing. If we have doubt, Paramatma will reveal on top of it. If we have doubt when we hear from Guru regularly and Prabhupada, then the again third confirmation will come. So when we are constantly with these three things regularly, then every doubt will be removed from our heart and confirm. More and more realization will come, more and more revelation will come. Then we are marching very quickly, advancing towards this goal. Towards this goal, we will become a more and more simple. We will become more and more. We will become a pure servant to that pure devotee and the parampara. And then naturally, he will bless to all his mercy. By that, naturally, we attain the goal. You see the connection from first one to fifth one. So this is all Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, through Parampara, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, through Sri Prabhupada, through the Guru Varga, we are getting this message from this, especially from chapter 1. So he's offering the obeisances, that's why. He's offering the benediction, that's why. And is setting the objective of this absolute truth and attaining that goal of Krishna Prema. They're very important to understand this essential point. Of Chaitanya Charitamrita, setting the scene, overlaying for all the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is a very important, crucial instruction. We should keep this 5 points in our heart every day. If we practice, then naturally we can get it very quickly, because we are going through a very systematic process which is laid out by all our Acharya, all the way from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Sri Prabhupada to our Guru. Now, look at come to this verse. I was explaining that absolute truth is discussed In the first verse, six aspects. Then the second verse is describing, next is about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda specifically, their mercy. And third verse is describing here about the Brahman realization, Paramatma and Bhagavan. We'll come to detail more. And the fourth verse is describing the external reason of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why did he appear. And fifth verse is describing the internal reason of why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. And then the sixth verse is describing uh, sixth verse onwards is describing about Nityananda Ram, Lord Nityananda Ram, all the way to 11, and then 12 and 13 Advaita Acharya verse is described about Advaita Acharya, and then the 14th verse is describing about Pancha Tattva, five truths. First verse is describing six truths. Their guru is also added, but the last 14th verse is describing specifically because guru is already there. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is guru, Nityananda Prabhu is guru, Advaita Acharya is guru. They all have disciples. So even Gadadhar Pandit is guru, even Srivas Thakur is guru. All of them all have disciples. So, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Adi Guru, Krishna Mande, and Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. So these six, the first six verses are specifically establishing the absolute truth, describing these all these details. Now, specific to verse number 3, is establishing now in this verse specifically how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. How do we understand that? That's the last line is very important. Let us read that. Then we'll explain that more detail. This is similar to the equation you have to draw the parallel to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse number 7. You see that verse? And then a few other verses are there. Srimad Bhagavatam verse is there. One, the Canto 1, chapter 1, verse 11. Verse 11. Yeah. Vadanti tattva vidas tattvam yad granam advayam brahmeti paramatma bhagwan iti sabdayate. That was. And the verse number 7 from Bhagavad chapter 7 is Matta parataram nanyat kinchidastu dhanunjaya mai sarvam vidam protam sutre maniganaiva. That means Krishna is telling that there is no superior truth beyond me. But he's telling from a more of opulent. That is another instruction which will come first. Let us chant this verse. There is another important instruction as well, to come to that, attaining that goal. Another way to understand that verse. Yadadvaitam Brahma Upanishadi tadapi asya tanubha yat atma antaryami purusha iti so asyam sabhibhava सदैश्वर्यै पूर्णो य इह भगवान् सा स्वयम् अयम् ना चैतन्यात् कृष्णात् जगति परतत्त्वम् परमिह. Beautifully described. That non-dual Dvaita means two. Happiness, distress, fame, infamy, like that too, always in this material world. Water and actual drinking water, it's not same thing. In spiritual world, it's same thing. If you say water, you don't need to separately express it again. Go and get water. Your thirst will be quenched. In spiritual, everything is absolute. Here, the duality is there. But here, non-dual. So that non-dual substance, Advaitam, Brahma Upanishadi. So the Upanishad talks about this Brahma Gnan or Brahman effulgence. What is that? That is the form of that is the effulgence coming from the body of the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Sri Krishna. Tad api asya tanubha. Tanu means body. Tanubha, whose body? Transcendental body of the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna. Because the first example we have to see is look at Brahma Samhita, verse number 2 and verse number 5. Verse number 2 is telling about the where Lord resides, Lord Krishna resides in Golok Vrindavan. There it is described about Sahasrapatra Kamalam. How is the Golok Vrindavan is there? What and all is there? Second and fifth verse especially. Second verse is describing this. Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakyam Mahat Padam Tad Karnikaram Tad Dhanam Tam Sambhavam. That means 1,000 petal lotus. In that thousands and thousands of petal lotus, center is Radha and Krishna. Sahasrapatra Kamalam Gokulakyam, that is called Golok Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, Gokulakyam Mahat Padam, Tad Karnikaram, Tad Anantam, this is Anantam, unlimited. Is expanding, ever expanding. Glories are ever expanding. That's why billions of gopis are there. If their Rasalila is happening, there also it's happening. Billions of gopis, it's ever expanding, more and more. So Radha and then Radha and Krishna in center, in the same place, Sweta Dweep. is also called Svetadvip. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pastimes was also happening simultaneously there. Is Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different, but today simultaneously these pastimes are happening in the same Golok Vrindavan. The same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, same Svetadvip is transformed and transported here, just like Vrindavan Gokul. Vrindavan is transformed, transported here when Lord Krishna comes here as Bhaumo Vrindavan, Gokul, Golok there. So same Svetadvip is here transported here. Navadvip Dham is nothing but Svetadvip. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performing pastimes when he appears, when he comes here. Uh, Once in a day of Brahma. So Krishna appears once in a day of Brahma. Immediately after Krishna appears in Dwapara, the next Kali Yuga, immediately Sri Chaitanya Krishna himself as a devotee appears only in once in a day of Brahma. So we are very lucky to be born. So in this time 500 afterwards, still we are fortunate. This is the first thing, and the fifth verse is telling about first verse is the second verse is telling of Brahma Samhita about the geographical location where Lord Krishna or Chaitanya is residing and how the structure is and whatnot. And fifth verse is telling, which is a big verse, I don't remember that verse, where it is telling about this Gokul at the same time Swetadeep and where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performing simultaneously. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives from his Jaiva Dharma book and one more book, I think, both places. The devotee who's going through Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's parampara is having a simultaneously having a two different bodies at in the spiritual world in Golok Vrindavan, being simultaneously in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, simultaneously also in Radha and Krishna's pastimes, is relishing both simultaneously. That is possible. One is going through this parampara. That also we should. And then now from that same Krishna, the original personality of Godhead, as is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Then we will give you the quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, from the Atharva Vedas, Vetasvatra Upanishad. We will also take some of the references how Krishna himself here also later on, because I will not want to give all the details because there's chapter 3. This chapter, each verse expansion is there. Like the third verse is there, is describing external reason. There's a whole chapter giving that detail. And the fourth verse is there, giving the internal reason. That whole chapter is there further. That's why this first chapter is very important because the next 17 chapters are laid out on this, especially specifically 14 verses because again the Nityan Prabhu's details are there in this chapter, and then Advaita Acharya, those details that the separate chapters are there, whole Nityan Prabhu associated. Again, same thing with Advaita. That's how this Adi Leela is laid out. Foundation is here in this first chapter. If we don't understand the first chapter, first 14 verses, then we can't actually understand the next chapter. So that this third chapter, there's a this third verse is related to the third chapter describing because he's giving the evidence how Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself. Elaborate, the whole chapter is describing. Same thing with external, internal reason is described so that we have clear details. We are very our faith is strengthened and we can achieve towards we can go through and we can attain actually practice and attain the Krishna Prema ultimate goal because we need to understand these things philosophical truths. So that's why Adilila so much about philosophical truths so that Madhya Leela, Antya Leela, you can concentrate and understand the instructions. Once you know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you accept those instructions very faithfully, sincerely, seriously, and you can practice it. If you don't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself 100%, then it becomes difficult of his understanding his instructions and carrying those instructions in our heart and practicing it. So that's why Adi Leela is also a key aspect to understand that way. Anyway, now the here first line is telling how the Lord's Brahman effulgence is nothing but the transcendental body of the Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different. Both are. The second line is telling Yad Antaryami Purusha iti so asyam sa vibhava. That is Paramatma feature. Is Antaryami means Paramatma, super soul. That feature is being described. Then third verse is telling the Sad Aishwarya, that personality. Now the Purna Bhagavan, that is original personality of Godhead. Bhagavan in full form. Not Paramatma is his expansion. And further expansion is that impersonal effulgence, Brahman effulgence. That is third level. So all these three are the same, one truth, because there are so many different gradations. When we say Krishna, when we say absolute truth, when we say Bhagavat Tattva, so is not one thing. Bhagavat Tattva means Krishna, along with his associates of the devotees of the Vishnu Tattva category, Shakti Tattva category, all these different kinds of incarnations, Sektavish avatar incarnation, qualitative incarnations, partial incarnations. So all this comes together and his own manifestations of Brahman, effulgence and Paramatma and Bhagavan. All these things we have done. That's why the first chapter, first few verses are laying out that ground of first 1 to 6 is establishing that absolute truth. Third verse specifically concentrating on Paramatma, the Brahman effulgence, Paramatma and Bhagavan aspect. The third verse is third line is telling how the Bhagavan aspect. The Brahman effulgence to Paramatma to Bhagavan. Sada Aishwarya, that means 6 opulences, which is Bhagavad Gita we learn what is Bhagavan is. Bhaga and one who possesses 6 op. Sada Aishwarya Purno Ya Iha Bhagavan Sa Swayam Mayam. That same Krishna who is Swayam Bhagavan is coming down as Na Caitanya, Krishna, same Chaitanya and Krishna is same personality. Jagati, Paratattvam Paramiha. Jagati, in this world is appearing as same Krishna, as now is appearing as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Paramiha is the supreme. So, Paratattvam, this we have to understand, there, this is the instruction, is there. Now, generally, Lord is what he's telling in Bhagavad Gita when he says Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidas Dhanunjaya, it's Swatantra. Is independent. Even first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, we mentioned Janmadhyasya verse. Anvayad Etaratachaddeshu Abhigna Swara Tene Swara, self-sufficient and is independent. He's not, he doesn't need anybody, he is independent. But Paratattvam is a supreme personality, he is supreme. But we have to also understand the another point here is when he is in the opulence, like in Narayan form, so then he is independent. Uh, but when he actually comes to the highest level of highest level of his manifestation as Shyamachandra Brajendra Krishna, he is not independent anymore. He wants to be controlled. That is actually Paratantra. He wants to be controlled by his devotees. He is Swatantra, but when it comes to Vrindavan, Gokul Vrindavan, especially not Dwarka, not Madura, but in Gokul Vrindavan, specifically he wants to be controlled by his devotees. So that's why if you want Krishna Prema, if you want to enter into Goloka Vrindavan, then we have to be also controlled by Lord's representative. So that's why we are given the first formula, that 5 steps, how to attain that goal. It is going through that parampara process. We have to go through that beauty because Lord Himself is controlled by His beauty. Then how we can attain the Lord's mercy? So that's why we have to go through that. That's why Guru Krishna Kripa Pai Bhakti Lata Beach. Again and again you will see that same point. In Sanatan Siksha, Rupa Siksha, again and again you will see the same point. We have to go through that because as he's telling to Durvas Muni when he came to Vaikuntha that I'm not independent. Yes, generally yes, you're correct, but I'm not actually independent. I'm dependent. Aswatantra hi jana sadhubir grasta hodayo. I'm in the pure devotee. I'm controlled by Ambarish Maharaj. You go to him only. He can only stop this. So Aswatantra jana sadhubir grasta hodayo bhaktair bhakta jana priya. Go and beg from him. Then only this Sudarshan Chakra will stop. So that is one has to be under the guidance of the pure devotees of the Lord. We have to become pure servant of the Lord. Then we have to follow that simplicity. Then we have to serve accordingly. So then only to become a pure servant, then we have to become Sevanugatya, Shastranugatya, then Guru Anugatya, Sadhu Anugatya. Naturally, then we'll understand everything. Everything will be revealed. When they are pleased naturally, we'll understand everything. Then we'll be able to get all the mercy required. Then we'll attain. Pure devotees mercy, and then we'll attain all the Paramparacharyas mercy, then we'll attain Krishna Prema. So just like the six Goswamis, just like Prabhupada, so immense mercy, he was able to, all the sadhus, whoever, all the associates in the beginning days also, they're all pleased. His father also is served so much, all the sadhus are pleased, all the his bestowings of blessing from his childhood all the way. So naturally, you can see what substantial results, we can transformation has happened. You can see that like six Goswami. So that is the result directly. Now, to translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Maybe we'll look at the word to word quickly. Yeah, that which Advaitam, non-dual Brahma, the impersonal Brahman, Upanishadi. In the Upanishads, that api, certainly, asya, his tanubha, effulgence of his transcendental body, ya, who, Atma, the super soul, Antaryami, indwelling Lord, Purusha, the supreme enjoyer, iti, thus, sa, he, asya, his, Amsa Vibhava, plenary expansion. So, because Balaram's second quadruple is Vasudev Sankarsana, Pradyumna, that Sankarsana is Mula Sankarsana. From him, these three Purushas are coming. Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, Kshirodaka. That Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is nothing but Paramatma. Manifestation is there in every atom, is also is there as super soul in every living entity. That super soul Paramatma is only in the material world. There is no super soul, no need of super soul, there is no super soul in the spiritual world. There directly one can see the Lord face to face. That's it, it's not needed. Sad Aishwarya with all six opulence which I mentioned. Aishwarya Samagra Sesha Asraya Jnanam Vairagya Sannam Bhaga Iti Gana. Full of opulence, all opulence, including Vairagya renunciation also included. Full of name, fame, beauty, everything. But when it comes to us to become Saralata, then we have to. So that is why even to become detached, we to become detached, also, we need these all these 5 points which I mentioned. Mercy of sadhu anugatya, sastra anugatya, guru anugatya, parampara anugatya. These has to be there in order to get the actually become renounced. Because by their mercy, then we will have no taste, no internally. Externally, we'll do everything. We'll manage everything. We'll balance. We'll do the work. We'll take care of family. Whatever. Though all those things we'll do. But internally, actually, we see it as in relation with the Lord. We don't see it as we'll not become proud. So we'll become automatically. That is real renunciation, real vairagya. Mm. Vairagya vidya nija bhakti yoga. Real renunciation is internally we are fully detached and we still think that I'm not actually, I'm still immature devotee, I'm still a Kanishta Adhikari. Because that is what natural renunciation, when one is having it, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Krishna, they are submitting that I don't possess anything. That is that Yogyata Vicharanai Tumara Karuna Sa will come to that position naturally, not artificially, because we will become so simple that we always feel that I need more mercy. I'm nothing. I don't possess anything. So only they have to give me. So like we are small child. A child is always looking for mother's help. So like that we are they are always looking. So that naturally will happen by this natural renunciation will happen when we don't have attachment for the money or the attractive so male to female, female to male, and puja and pratishtha. These four things are there. So money, woman, men, puja and pratishtha. These four things obstruct the devotee all along, from beginning to all the way up to bhava bhakti. One step, one stage lower than the prema bhakti. So these will go when we follow this, um, when we become controlled by the devotee of the Lord, especially the pure devotee and pure servants of the Lord. When we serve them, when we become controlled, when we under their guidance, then naturally we soon become detached. It's not other. We try our best, it doesn't happen. Even to kick out another, this is the only process which works. So that is what Paratantra means. The Lord becomes Paratantra himself. He becomes controlled by the devotees, as we see in Vrindavan. Damodar month we just past. The whole Damodar Lila, whole Govardhan Lila, always controlled by his devotees. He's not independent there. When he comes out, then yes, he becomes independent. But otherwise, he's always dependent. He's controlled by his devotees. That point also has to be understood here. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. What the Upanishads describe as impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body. And that means we also, that's why, that is another point is also we have to know that, yes, because pure devotee prays, sadhus pray, but we have to do also something. So it's like, you are going and asking the teacher that give me marks. So not studying, give me marks. Or you are asking a friend to help and you are not ready to do anything. If you do, you trying your best and then you are not able to solve that math problem, chemistry problem, whatever problem. And then somebody can help. Your friend can help or your teacher can help. So that means you ask, everybody, can you pray for me? But we ourselves have to also do something. That means we have to do some service for them. We should serve the pure devotee. We follow the process. Then you ask somebody, then they pray, then it works. But if we don't do anything, but we simply ask prayers. But how will it work? Yes, they will pray. We also have to pray, but we also have to do something. So isn't it from our childhood? I remember before the exam we pray even now, right? When we start the car, we pray to Lord Narsingh Dev. Before going any yatra, we pray. Every day morning we have this prayer is needed. Every day we have to pray. So that's for sure. But also along with that, we have to do something. We have to endeavor for it. We have to follow that Acharya's instruction, Shastra's instruction, Sadhu's instruction. So that is all. That point also we have to understand that prayers work amazingly. Pure devotees prayers, but we have to in order for those prayers to work, we have to also do some seva. So we have to follow the instructions and seva. Both has to be done naturally, and we have to also pray. We have to also have submit, right? The other the guru might be praying, but then we really not desiring it. We're not desiring that from the Lord. Then it won't work. So that's why both are required. So that is another point we need to learn. Translation by Sri Prabhupada. What the Upanishad describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body and the Lord, known as the super soul. His body is localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the supreme personality of Godhead. Krishna himself, full with all six opulences, is the supreme absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. Little bit what the Upanishad describe. So the verse which we quoted from Bhagavatam is Vadanti Tattva Vidas Tattvam. That Tattva means absolute truth. All the six verses are describing absolute truth, but this one way to look at the absolute truth is one way. Impersonal aspect, Paramatma aspect, and Bhagavan aspect. This is one way. It's not just all. It's not just everything together. There are many different ways. This is one way we have to understand. Vadanti Tattvavidam Tattvam Yat Gnanam Advayam. That same thing, which is Advayam non-dual. Yat Gnanam, that knowledge, to understand that non-dualism. Yat Gnanam Advayam Brahmeti. First is Brahman. Paramatmeti, Bhagavan is of the, which we mentioned as sun rays, sun planet, sun god. Sun rays is effulgence, sun god is the sun planet is the next one because rays are coming from that planet. And then beyond that planet, there is a person sitting. From that only this planet is there. From that planet only these rays are coming. Same way. So this effulgence is there because actual person as super soul is there. From super soul, beyond super, there is actually a person. There is actually a planet where Lord is residing as his original person. So these three different ways. This is there in Svetasura. We'll come to that. So but effulgence of his body and the Lord, known as super soul, his body is localized pulmonary portion. Localized means we here, right? Outside we see this is impersonal. Lord is expanding himself. All the hundreds and thousands of head, that is Purusha Sukta prayers is offered to that person. Purusha Sukta prayers are offered as you can understand as impersonal aspect. Virat Rupa. So is the because the whole gigantic body of the Lord is there manifested all over the universe. That is called Bodhak Sai Vishnu. There it is mentioned Sahasrapat. No, what is that? Sahasra Sirsham. Yeah, Sahasra Sirsha Purusa Sraksha Sahasrapat. That was Purusukta praise. Where it is, he has thousands of eyes, he has thousands of heads, he has thousands of ears. His bones are compared to mountains. So all these are described. So everything in this universe, whatever you see, is it's part and parcel of the body. Is expansion of the Lord's body. Is maintaining this. So that's another way to understand as a super soul. But when it comes to localized, that means each and every one of us has super soul, Paramatma. So that is localized, but outside also is there. So that is why that is also the parampara anugatya we mentioned, the shastra anugatya. Also, we have to have acharan. That means we have to also follow worship the deity. So we should also worship the deity. Paramatma is there, but Paramatma is revealing. Also, deity will reveal too. As you pray, Paramatma will reveal, Sadhu will reveal, as you hear and serve, the realization will come. This will automatically confirm all those statements of Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. And also, when you serve the deity directly or indirectly, then more confirmation, deity will also reveal. These are all the expansion, as the Lord is telling in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Further, we will see these verses. So, all these things are required to attain that one original goal of attaining Krishna Prema. Super soul is but is localized primary person is localized is there is a to guide us only is there. Lord Chaitanya is supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with six opulences, is absolute truth and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. There is no purport, but now we have to understand the references we have to see. First we will look at the reference from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Narada Muni and Vasudev's teachings. Vasudev is asking, Krishna's father himself is asking Narada Muni, is describing that. And it is actually is relating, Narada Muni is telling that this has happened. Whatever you are asking, this is answered already by King Nimi and Maharaj Nimi and Navayogendras. He's asked Navayogendras, they are describing. So then he quotes that, and this is in the 11th canto, 5th chapter. Um, Verse number 32, famous verse. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Ignai Sankirtanai Praya Jejanti Sumedasa. So, how? Because how do you prove that this is the first reference? We'll give many references. So, then only we can accept. If somebody asks, even for our own faith. So, we have to look at the reference. We can just cannot accept anybody and everybody as a Supreme Lord. So na Chaitanya Krishna Jagati Paratattvam. How will you know? So there it is mentioned Krishna Varnam. So he accepts the color and mood of Krishna. Krishna Varnam. Krishna or Krishna. But he's not go and he's not blackish blue like Krishna. But he will Krishna is a different color. What is that color? That is gold. Krishna Varnam Krishna Krishna. How will he appear? Sango Pangastra Parshadam. He will come along with Sango Pangastra. Parshad is belong with his associate, that's the Panchatattva, with Srivas Thakur, with Nityananda Prabhu, his expansion, his incarnation is Advaita Acharya Prabhu, and then Shakti Tattva got Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas is devotee. So the five Panchatattva. So in this way he is appearing. So there also that's why we said Prem se bolo Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Not doesn't say that. That means that every day we have to remember why it is mentioned like that, because we forget the goal of Krishna Prema. We forget why we are here in Bhakti. Why we are so much with a great struggle we have come here. Our parents tell, don't do too much bhakti. You go to temple, but don't practice too much. So I used to tell, because I heard also myself as well from my parents in the beginning, but not now. So because they are concerned, because whether you'll get married or not, or whether you'll do other thing, or whether you'll give up and go and join the temple, or you'll do something like that. So they all have their own fears. So, but we have come, we have entered at that time. We know that this is the best thing, this is the topmost thing, this is the real thing, and so mm, that we know. But as we progress, then we keep forgetting. We forget the goal every day. So that goal has to be kept. That's why Prem Se Bolo Panchatattva mantra, we have to really, with love and affection, one has to chant this before chanting, and when we do the Prema Dhvani also, that time also. For specifically Panchatattva mantra only it is called, if you observe the Prema Dhvani, Prem Se Bolo, that word is used specifically for that reason. Because if we have that love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Panchatattva, then actually you can attain his mercy through the parampara, then you can attain Krishna Prema. You will go back to Golok Vrindavan. Otherwise, it's not possible. That's why that word is used specifically before. So the Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishna Sango Pangastra Parshadam Ignai Sankirtanai Praye. Then what did they come to teach? To do the Sankirtan Igna, to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They came to specifically to expand, to teach, to perform through holy names of the Lord, to chant the holy name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Ignai Sankirtana Praye Ejanti Sumedasa. One who is intelligent, they will take up to this congregation chanting of the holy name. This is the one reference where it's clearly, directly, explicitly stated about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance in Kali Yuga as Kali Kale Nama Avatar Krishna Rupa. As a holy name, Nam Avatar is taking that. So Nam Namakar Bhugda, second verse of Sixth Shastram is telling that one should take shelter of the holy name. That is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will become supremely pleased. If you have deities, Gaurnata, first thing we have to do is nicely chant the holy name every day in the morning. That is the best way to please. Not open the altar and do the arati and all those. That is secondary. First is we have to do nicely chanting the holy name for their pleasure. Then they will be very pleased if you try it, because that is the prime reason why they have come here to give Krishna prema. So it is very interesting to give Krishna prema. Who has to come? Who has to call? Lord Narayan, Lord Vishnu himself is generally Lord Vishnu is coming so many times. But in this case of Krishna Prema, Lord Vishnu himself, as Advaita Acharya Mahavishnu Sadasivi himself had to call Krishna, he personally has to come as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descend to give Krishna Prema. Dharma, Kama, Moksha, he can give. But to give Krishna Prema, Advaita Acharya himself got unqualified to give, then he is called Krishna. So that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has specifically come. When his business is over, then he told, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, now nobody is there to take the goods. So everybody became madmen. Now your time is over. He's indicating indirectly by a riddle. So in later on in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see that. So saying, because Advaita is the one who called for him to come. And at the end also he's telling, your time is over. Now you can go back so to your abode. 48 years Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there. Anyway, this is the first verse, 11:5:32. And the next verse is also immediately in 34th verse. How Krishna, Rama, and Chaitanya, all three incarnations are in the one verse, 34th verse. त्यक्त्वा सुजृपितराज्यलक्ष्मीं धर्मिष्ठया वचसा आर्यवचसा अगाधरण्यं मायामृगमक्षित अन्वदावत् दैदेप्सित अन्वदावत् वन्दे पुरुषते चरणारविन्दम्. Take shelter of that Mahaprabhu. Who is that Mahaprabhu? Is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is Jagannath Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Both are called Mahaprabhu. So that same Mahaprabhu, and another quotation is there, we're coming up. So there in Atharva or Svetaswara, another Upanishad, it is exact Mahaprabhu word is used, and appearing in this Mayapura, that is also specifically explicitly stated. So that is another reference also will come there. But in this verse is clearly called out Tyaktva Sujatsu Surepsita Rajya Lakshmi. Under the order of the Brahmana, Surepsita and Brahmana also, no, the first is on the order of his father, as Lord Ramachandra has left Krishna as Vasudev. So then he went to Gokul from the where he is born. Ramachandra on the order of his father Dasarat Maharaj he left. So the second line, Dharmishta Arya Vachasa, the Agadharanyam. So on the order of his father, but here also in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's case, there is a Brahmana who was not allowed to enter into the, because this Rasalila Sankirtan was going on inside Siva Sangha. Not everybody is allowed. Doors are locked. At that time, this Brahmana is not allowed. He was very much upset. So he cursed Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to become. You will become sannyasi. You will be barefoot of all these things. So then he said, oh, he was so happy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu happily accepted it, because he was not ready to take sannyas very soon. So he happily accepted. So naturally, so that is the result. He accepted the curse of the Brahmana. And Lord Ramachandra accepted the word of his father, this is Maharaj, what is given to Kaikeyi. Like that, Lord Krishna as was there. So then he has come to Gokul. So all these three things are all corroborated. Lord Ramachandra, Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, all these three personalities are in that same one verse is establishing it is the same person. Lord Krishna is equal to Lord Rama is equal to Lord Chaitanya, but in full is Lord Krishna is equal to Lord Chaitanya. That's why Lord Ramachandra is actually has come to Madhudrama Dweep. So in Navadvip Dham is 9 islands. In that one of the island is Madhudrama Dweep. There Lord Ramachandra is revealing, he's laughing, and Sita Devi is asking why are you laughing? Actually, in future, I'm going to appear as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, golden incarnation. He showed that form and he told this place. Everybody is getting this is called Mudha Druma Deepa. This under that tree where he showed. So that Druma is tree. Mudha means getting pleasure, giving pleasure to everybody. Mudha Druma Dweep. It became because on that island. So that because there Lord Ramchandra showed the Gauranga form there. So there is another place called Mahatpura where Pandavas, 5 Pandavas, himself was appeared. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed to him, and then the same aspect is also in the same place. Madhvacharya has been given darshan of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu gave his darshan to this Madhvacharya at this Mahatpura, where the Pancha Pandavas used to live. Many pastimes are there to actually give the how Krishna is none other than the same Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Anyway, going back to that verse, establishing that Arya Vajra, that the other third line is telling Maya Mrugam, that Maya Mrugam is explained differently. When Lord Ramchandra went into the forest running after the deer Sita Devi. So that from that instance we know this is representing Lord Ramchandra. At the same time, it is also representing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because in our Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Jiva Goswami said, Maya Mrugam means here the Lord has specifically come to search out the conditioned souls. Anvadava searching out Maya Mrugam means Maya means this who are influenced by Maya, wealth and name, fame, prestige, women, you name it. Everybody is running after so many worldly things in this world. So that is Maya. Mrugam means searching out. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to search out especially all these conditions, all to deliver them. Maya Mrugam Daitepsida Anvadavat to deliver all of them by giving Krishna Prema. So in that way it is also representing not Lord only Lord Ramachandra but also Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, this verse, Mande Mahapurusha Te Charanarvind, that is Mahapurusha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Mahapurusha, also called. This is another reference of 11.5, 34th verse. Now look at the Mahabharat. There, Vishnu Sahasranam is part of Mahabharat. So in that verse, the Vishnu Sahasranam famous verse is there. Suvarna Varno Hemango Varango Chandanangadi. So Lord will appear in a golden form. That is talking about the same. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in golden. He appeared in the mood of Srimad Radha. So it's golden. And then the next verse immediately to that is Sannyas Kricha Nishta Samto Parayana. He will appear not in ordinary, he is sannyas, he becomes sannyasi. To deliver the conditions only he takes sannyas because otherwise the students he was teaching as Nimai Pandit, they are creating offenses. They're not getting Krishna Priyam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to deliver, but now they are becoming offensive. That's why now let me take sannyas. And so by that, everybody naturally they offer the respect they try to follow. So then they can get the mercy and attain Krishna Prema. This is another verse from Vishnu Sahasranama we are getting. So, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, how he appears like this in the mood of Srimad Radha in a golden form in Kali Yuga. So, and now, so we'll look at the other references which I can't remember. So, we're going to look at the reference from Svetas, Uttara Upanishad. And other places. So that Atharva Veda, this is the verse earlier I was quoting. And the last verse, Chaitanya Krishnadas Kaviraj goes, Sunile Kandive Chitteraj Ajnana Dosh Krishna Gada Prema Hibe Paibe Santosh. And you hear Chaitanya Charitamrita in a great intensity, great attention, what will happen? You will attain Krishna Prema. Simply hearing submissively, free one's heart of all the ignorance, and one will attain Krishna Prema. 11.532 we quoted, 11.534 also we quoted. Now we'll go to the next references so of Chandogya Upanishad. Is telling Tanmadye Daharam Sakshan Mayapuram directly. Where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born, Yogapeeth, birthplace, Mayapuram Itiryate Tatra Ishma Bhagavata Chaitanyasya Paratma Paramatmanaha. Paratmanaha, same thing. Directly mention of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu name itself, Mayapur, where he is born. What other reference you need? So there, the spiritual city in the shape of a lotus, because as I mentioned, the lotus is in Svetadweep, Golok. Here, the same Svetadweep is Navadvip Dham. This is also like lotus only, 9 islands together. So, lotus has abode of Sri Mayapur as its heart, Sri Dham Mayapur, abode of Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality. In the middle of Mayapur is the place where this Yoga Pit is there. It's called Antardvip. That Yoga Pit is in the Antardvip, the 9 islands, one of them. Then Atharvaved. Atharvavede Purusha Bodhi and Upanishad, yeah, in Atharvaved, because there are Upanishad part of the each Veda also. So in the Bodhanya Upanishad, Saptame Gaura Varna Vishnor iti Ayena Swasektya Chaikyam Etya Pratar Avit Avatirya Saha Swai Swamanum Shikshayati. In the Atharvaveda Purusha Bodhani Upanishad, it is said in the seventh mantra. This is 11th mantra right now, which is going on within the second Dviparar, the 51st year of Lord Brahma, 7th mantra, Vaivasvata Manu. So Kali Yuga, that time Krishna appeared and then he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu one day of Brahma. In the beginning of Kali Yuga, exact, specific, it was so specific, not before so many, now, at this time, exact, specific. The Supreme Personality of Godhead will, accompanied by his own associate, descend in a golden form to the earth. He will teach the chanting of his own names. Isn't it so clear? So what else you need? And Svetasvatara Upanishad, which we'll quote about as Krishna's also will quote. So which famous verse which we quote regularly, 2.3.7 or 6.7. Similar. Tad Iswaranam Paramam Maheswaram Tad Devatanam Paramam Cha Devatam Patim Patinam Paramam Parastar Vidama Devam Bhavane Samedyam. Through the Supreme Lord, you are the Supreme Maheswara, worshipable deity of all the demigod, the Supreme Lord of all. Lord, you are the controller of all control, personality of God, Lord of everything, worshipable. And the same one further. Mahan Prabhur Vai Purusha. Mahan Purusha. Mahaprabhu again. Direct. Satvasya Esha Pravartaka. Su Nirmalam Imam Praptim. Ishano Jyotir Abhyaya. The Supreme Personality of God is Mahaprabhu, who disseminate transcendent enlightenment just to be in touch with him is to be in contact with indestructible Brahma Jyoti. So further, this is clearly established from the writings of great Acharyas of Gaudiya Parampara. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of this from Svetasvatara Upanishad. So this way we can understand. There are many other references, but at least these references we can understand now. We'll go back to them. We'll quickly complete it soon because we're getting into another class. So from Krishna Matta Parataram Nanyata I mentioned 7.7 Bhagavad Gita. Some references you can see that. How will you accept Krishna as Supreme? Why not Vishnu? Why not Rama? Why not somebody else? So first verse you will see that Ekala Iswara Krishna Ara Sabhavritya. Ekala Iswara Krishna. It doesn't say Ekala Iswara Rama. It doesn't say Ekala Iswara Narasimha. It doesn't say Ekala Iswara Vishnu. It says Ekala Iswara Krishna Ara Sabhavritya. That means everybody is servant of Lord Krishna, including Lord Balram also, Lord Narayan, everybody else. That's why you say that the other reference you see that the pastime also. Arjun, Lord Narayan abducted all these babies of this Brahmana in Dwarka Mathura. Then nobody could protect because Lord Narayan wants to see Lord Krishna. Then Lord Krishna has to take Arjuna there. And then when he saw, then he gave the baby, then brought the babies back. So from that reference also example was clearly given. Um, in the Svetasvatara Upanishad, you will see that the other verses establishing the Supreme Personality of God, Sri Krishna, as the absolute truth. Bhagavatam verse which we mentioned many times. Eche chamsa kala pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Rodayanti Yuge. Krishna is the Supreme Personality. All the incarnate are listed, but after that, because when it is unknown, first we have to establish the known thing. Then we have to establish the unknown thing. So that's the first explaining all these incarnates. Then where these incarnates coming from? That is coming from the original source is Sri Krishna. And Brahma Samhita verses which you mentioned. Isvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigra Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So he is the supreme cause of all causes. And so Brahma Samhita, so many verses are there. Describing that how Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. Where does he live? every detail. Golok Dham Nij Dham Ne Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesh Haridham Sute Shute Shute Prabha Prakata Nishya Ena Govinda Madi Purushantam Hum Bajami. In this way, we can understand that the references are there. How Krishna is the supreme original personality of Godhead. First verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, and the Gopal Tapana Upanishad describing how he is born to Nanda and Yashoda, and also Devaki was there. In others also Gopal Champu describing, and other books are also describing the aspects of how Krishna is born simultaneously. Everything is described clearly, establishing the how Krishna is. Lagu Bhagavatam is describing the three avatars are the most prominent, most full. In that also topmost is Krishna, Rama, Narsinga. These three are the para avastha avatar. This is Rupa Goswami. In that also Krishna is the full in full. A little bit less is Rama, little bit less is Narsinga. But otherwise, these three are actually the more fullest out of all incarnations, so unlimited incarnations. So from all these references are clearly pointing out. So all these expansions are also clearly laid out in that way also. So look at Krishna. Krishna expanded the Balaram. Balaram said, okay, you say that Lord Rama is the supreme, or you say Narsinga is supreme, or you say Vishnu. Now you explain me. So how you say that Krishna came from Vishnu? Okay, you explain me the incarnations, how the expansion happened. So you have to prove it, but you won't be able to prove it because there is no other reference. So all these so many proofs we are giving the evidences in different angles, however you look at, in terms of the abodes, in terms of the expansions and incarnations, in terms of the Shastric statement directly, how is the supreme cause of all causes, in terms of the 64 qualities we are describing. Lord Krishna is 64, and then we are describing that he is the only Venukara, he is the only Gopavesh, he is the only Navakishore, he is only Natavar, these four things. Neither Dwarka Krishna has, not Madhura Krishna has, is not Gopavesh. Dwarka Krishna is not Gopavesh. Is not playing the flute. Only Syamasundar Krishna. So in that way also we are describing that Krishna's opulence, the topmost form is only Syamasundar Krishna. Even within the Krishna's forms are also we are describing. In what else, what more we can give, but these references are very strong references from the directly coming from the Brahma Samhita, Shweta Upanishads, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So in this way, we can understand if anybody has, and we ourselves, our faith has to be strengthened. That I should surrender myself. My life should be meant only for Krishna Prema, and I should give it myself. I offer myself at the lotus feet of Krishna because I am the part and parcel of Krishna. I am meant to be served. I'm meant to give pleasure to that personality of Krishna. Then naturally, I can give pleasure to all other living entities, part and parcel of Krishna. So I am serving Krishna. I am serving them for Krishna's pleasure because Krishna is the one who has arranged. Even though my karma is there, but he will nullify that karma also, whatever, because we are serving as a, it is Krishna's service. Naturally, he will take away everything. Whatever we don't need, he will take away everything. Whatever we need, everything he will give. So as Ananya Aschantayanto Mam Ejana Paripas Tesham Nitya Yuktanam Yoga Kshema Vahamyam is there to look after, is obligated to look after. If we follow the first five principles, with that we'll conclude. The first five principles we mentioned. First is desire, having Krishna Prema. I want, that is my goal every day. We have to remember that. Oh my Lord, please help me. I want to attain love for you. So please help me here. I'm a beggar. I'm a beggar. Beggar, what they do. Whoever is going rich or poor doesn't matter. They are all begging only every day. Wherever they sit, they beg only. They don't think that I am now became a greatest beggar. I have received so much. No, they will every day they will do the whole life they will do that only. So that is the devotee's quality also. They always beg for mercy. That means we do surrender completely to the Krishna and Krishna servant. So after desire, having the desire, next thing we said is we have to serve the pure devotee of the Lord, Nitya Siddha Bhakta, pure devotee of the Lord. Then we have to become pure servant of that devotee. Then we said, then to become that, we have to become simple in the heart. That means we should not be, and then we have to become simple also. To practice that, we have to become Seva Anugatya, Guru Anugatya, Parampara Anugatya, Shastra Anugatya. That means we have to do humble service regularly, and we have to, Shastra we should read, and we should, if Shastra says something, should corroborate with Guru and Sadhu, and then we should follow the instructions. and Sevanugatya, we should serve sadhus. So, and parampara means whatever parampara instruction we are receiving every day, we hear and we follow those instructions also, other than our service. We take responsibility, whether distribution of books or whatever. The Guru is going to tell, Sadhu is going to tell. By all this process, and then Archa Vigraha, Paramatma reveals something, we corroborate with all these three Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. If Archa Vigraha, by serving the deity, we may get some revelations. So that also will be corroborating by all these Anugatya. So naturally, then we will please that pure devotee. We will become pure servant of that pure devotee. By becoming, naturally, he will bestow all his mercy. Natural Lord will bestow his all his full mercy. Then we will attain that prema very quickly. To the degree we follow these five things, we are going to be guaranteedly getting Krishna Prema in this life itself. So that's it. That is the essence. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Vandra, Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Much more to speak on this verse is not enough, but within the short time we have, so we try to discuss to some extent. Shri Krishnadas Kairas Goswam Prabhupada ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai. गौर भक्तों की वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यस्य कृपा सिंधुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। वैष्णव की जय।